Hi, welcome to our brand new podcast, The Secret Life of Adults. My name is Kojo Yankson.
And mine is Enimo Animado.
All right, what's this about? This podcast is about the truth behind being an adult. You know, in public, we tell a lot of lies just to keep things moving. But on this podcast, no lies, no cap. We're telling you the reality of what it means to be a husband, a father, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a mother. You know, these roles that society has prescribed for us to play. What goes into playing them successfully? That's what our conversations will be about, right?
Yeah, and also we're able to do this because we have been all of that. Husband, wife, mother, boyfriend, caught
Been
cheating,
there,
not
done
caught
that,
cheating, hidden it,
all of
successfully, all of it.
Yeah.
Almost sold our children. All of it.
That one was me.
All of it, basically. So what are we talking about today?
All right, today I thought we would start off by killing a few of the myths that we have about men and women.
Okay.
Right? I think men have certain views of women that we've accepted to be true, but they are not.
Okay.
And women have some beliefs about
Of
men
course.
that they think are gospel, but they are wrong.
Okay.
You know, so today let's shatter a few
Okay,
of those
shoot.
myths. Okay, so I'll start. One of the myths men have about women is that women don't like sex. Is it true?
Gosh, am I going to speak for all women? I think it's not true. I think women like sex. I think that women like good sex. I think women like good sex with the right person. I think women like good sex with the right person who is probably emotionally invested or physically gracious in the
Endowed.
Yeah, you know what I mean, or
Right.
knows what to do, which falls under good sex. So I do think that women like sex. I think women like to look like they don't like sex.
Why?
And maybe because it's the purest thing, you know, just appearing pure and ethereal and chaste. And because we're really a largely Christian community. And so you don't want to think, like you're in church, you know, your hands are lifted, you're doing all of that. You kind of don't want people to think that, oh, I can strip, I can take it off, I can, you know, twirl on a pole, I can lift one leg up, I can do anal, whatever. Do you know what I mean? So you kind of don't want to put that persona out there. I think that the African society does not promote women being openly sexual.
But what's the benefit to women of pretending you don't like something that you actually like? I mean, then how are you going to get a regular supply of it?
We are not lacking. We have our ways.
Explain.
But no, those are secrets. We're not gonna.
The podcast is called The Secret Life of Adults.
We're not gonna. I mean, but women know how to get what they want. I saw that somebody said once that if you're sleeping with a woman and she's wearing matching underwear, know that you didn't decide to sleep with her. She knew what she was going to do, so she was ready for it. So I feel like, I mean, we have our ways. We identify the prey. We coordinate the chase and make you think that you want to. And then when it's done, then we decide, do we want to do this again or not? So depending on how we feel, then it's, yeah.
I have a theory. My theory is that women pretend not to like sex because it is a way of gaining power. So you obviously the person who controls scarce resources is the one who has the power.
The cookie.
So exactly. So if you make sex a scarce resource and you act like you don't want it, then the guy who has admitted he wants it, the man, then has to basically give you consideration in order for you to give him what he wants.
Yeah.
Right? So you make it look like he's the one who's after it.
Yeah.
So he must part with something in order to get it.
Tricks of the trade, isn't it?
Right?
Yeah.
So it's a power thing. I remember looking at comments under a post on Facebook, right? So somebody said, look, do you prefer a man who will come up boldly to you and say, I don't want a relationship, I just want sex, right? Or do you prefer a man who will come and pretend and tell you stories and lies and all of that for months and months and months, make you think that it's about something, you know, magical besides sex, and then have sex with you? And most of the women under the post were saying, oh no, I would prefer the straight guy.
Okay.
So he should be straight with me, tell me what he wants, and I will also be straight with him and tell
what it
him
will
what
cost
I
him.
want, what it will cost him,
Yeah.
right? And I remember looking at that comment and thinking, I'm confused.
Why?
But the sex, dear, you don't want it. If the man comes to you and says, all I want is sex, if you agree, doesn't it mean you also want sex? So why must you also tell him what else you want? It's sex. So have sex.
It doesn't work like that, though.
Why must someone pay?
Why do you pay for scarce resources, like you said? We've
Thank
already
you.
made the resource
Precisely.
scarce. So obviously you're going to have to pay for it.
So that's the secret, right? The main underlying reason why women prefer to act like they don't like sex is because it gives them power over men.
If you say so.
Oh, tell me if I'm wrong.
No.
We are busting myths.
This
right?
one there we can't bust.
You can't bust.
Wallahi, we can't bust.
This woman is going to be difficult.
But did you expect it to be easy?
Yes, I did.
No, but
actually.
I think it's true. But deeper than that, Kojo, and I get the whole power struggle and everything, but deeper than that is also the fact that women may feel powerless without that power. Because in the dynamics of the way things work, if it's, the economy or making money and all of that, it's almost as if men have the upper hand in a lot of things. And so possibly the one thing that's like, purely our thing is the vajayjay. And so it becomes the thing that we trade with. And it's not just the actual acts that we trade with, it's the promise of, the possibility of, and it's everywhere, not just in the romantic, setting or whatever. It's when we're selling things, when we're marketing, when we're looking for jobs. There's always a certain underlying hope-giving possibility. It's almost like it's our thing, and I think it is our thing.
And it is a more powerful bargaining chip than the economic resources that men control.
Of course. And
so if the two of us wanted to do a business deal with our producer Sule, right? If I went to him with my consideration being economic, and you went to him with your consideration being sexual, chances are he'll be more interested in dealing with you than me.
Yeah.
So it's a stronger bargaining chip than the economic power that men have.
Yeah.
So in reality, women have far more power than men.
Some women, because it's something that you have to nurture and cultivate. Not every woman is attractive. A woman could offer herself to you and be like, nah, no way. You know what I mean? Which is why, for example, the plastic surgery industry is doing so well. Because women want to look a certain way. And when you look that way, then you're actually able to bargain or put yourself out there for the highest bidder. So it's not something that everybody has. It's something that is cultivated. It's something that is taught. You have to learn how to be alluring without being obvious. How to be sexy without looking promiscuous. And all of that, if you want to bargain like really up high, as opposed to if you are selling, it for 100 CDs a night, then that one is like...
It's interesting because what you've said kind of busts a myth that I was expecting you would say women have about men.
Oh, which is what?
Which is that men will sleep with just anything.
I don't think men will sleep with just anything.
Good. I'm glad you say that because it is a very common misconception.
I mean, we don't understand why men sleep with some of the women that they do, but I'm sure that they have their reasons.
There is
which
always
is why
a reason.
Perhaps one myth is that a lot of women think men are dumb. Yeah.
So is that your myth? Is that the one you want me to bust?
I mean, you can bust it. You can try and bust it.
All right. So yes, women think men are dumb. The truth is that men are simple.
Okay.
I don't know whether simple is the same as dumb. So men are binary. 1 + 1 = 2. Right? You can predict a man's reaction in every situation. A woman's reaction depends on a million different factors and will change from minute to minute.
Of course.
Right? There is so much complexity going on with women. And I'm being polite calling it complexity because it is actually irrationality in some cases. In some cases, right?
It's rational. We understand why we're being
Even
irrational.
you don't understand.
I think we do.
Okay. So what I'm saying here is that men are binary. We're simple, we're predictable. Okay? That looks to a complicated being as being dumb. That's how it looks to you. Because you are considering 100 different things at a time. A man is considering one thing, 2 at best. Yet, there is so much evidence that men cannot possibly be dumb. Every invention in human history
was inspired by a woman, but okay. Go on then.
Every invention in human history was done by a man. I mean, I can hardly think of. Well, okay, actually, that's not fair.
The airplane.
There are some things that were invented by women.
Yeah.
But it's like almost every major invention
was by a man,
right? So I'm sorry, that is not the result of being dumb. Even if some woman inspired the idea still came from the man.
Yeah.
Right? So men are not dumb. There's evidence around us that we are not dumb, but we are simple.
Very simple.
Yes, very simple. Now, look, there is also evidence that men are not sophisticated. I'm speaking generally. There are some very sophisticated men.
Of course.
Yes. But generally, men are not sophisticated. And one of the pieces of evidence of that is how easily men get caught when they cheat.
I feel like there's another myth coming up.
There is.
Okay.
Yes.
Hit me with it.
Men think they cheat more than women do.
They don't? Is that even possible? What do the statistics say?
Speaking to the
statistics of those who are caught.
I didn't say men are caught more than women. I said men think they cheat more than women.
Yeah, but you're only cheating when you're caught.
No.
When you're not caught, there's no evidence. None whatsoever. It did not happen. Prove it.
You know this is going to be a soundbite.
Well, prove it.
Look. Cheating is cheating. And the truth is what? Who cheats more?
Well, there was a study done by one of these big universities, not sure which one it is, which showed that women actually cheat more than men, except that women are not caught as much as men.
Another thing, and I think I've read the same study, another thing it said, and that's the reason why it's a myth I want us to bust today, is that women carry out activities that are in fact cheating, but they justify it.
Yeah.
They explain it away.
With a lot of words. And
Right.
we know that a man's listening span, I think it's about 6 or 7 seconds. If you can't say what you want to say really quickly, then a man will his eyes will glaze over and then he won't be focused anymore.
Yeah, stop listening.
So usually we tend to explain in very long, emotional,
but it's not
works
even when
of
you are
art.
explaining to men. When you're explaining to yourselves.
Yeah, I mean, so I met this guy at work and he helps me with work and I feel really connected to him. And, he understands me emotionally. So we have these long conversations about things and philosophy and art and my feelings. And it's so amazing to have found this friend who truly gets me. That's an emotional affair that I'm explaining to myself.
And even if it turns into a physical affair, you will explain it away.
Well, I mean, yes,
you talk
because
about how he was grieving and you needed to hug him, and when you hugged him, it was just a moment. You can't deny moments. And by the way, if things were well at home, it wouldn't have gone that far. So actually, it's your man's fault that you cheated.
It always is.
So this is what I'm saying. You can justify the worst behavior.
Well, the thing is, men can also justify, except that they let themselves get caught so badly that they cannot justify.
Men don't justify. Men apologize.
They beg.
Yes, they beg. They don't justify. No man tries to make it sound like he was right to cheat.
I actually have had a conversation with a guy who justified his cheating. And in a way, I felt his pain. Because he said, my wife has gone off sex. It's not because I'm not trying. It's not because I'm not trying at home or helping with the kids or trying to be romantic. I don't know if she doesn't find me attractive anymore. I don't know what it is. But she's gone off sex, haven't had sex for 8-9 months. So yes, I went and slept with somebody else. What was I supposed to do? I had baby oiled so much that when my Kojo saw my hand coming, he just went straight to bed.
Why is it called Kojo?
Okay, fine, Kofi, whatever. He just went straight to bed. And so you can imagine that kind of reaction if you've been, doing yourself so much that when you're sees your hand coming, he's like, nah, don't want you down. Off, work done. Do you get what I mean? How do you explain that?
So what the common sense answer would be, then you should leave, right? So that you don't have to be put in a situation where you're cheating, right? Because clearly that relationship is not working. And so why stay?
Because of the kids.
So there's selfish interest there as well. You're staying for some personal reason. So it is cheating. You're having your cake and eating it.
Yeah.
See? So you're right. That guy was trying to justify it, but he convinced you. So I guess he's cracked the matrix.
I mean, I understood him. I wasn't convinced, but I understood him. And to be honest, Kojo, sometimes there's never a right reason to cheat, but sometimes you understand why people cheat.
Give me a reason for cheating that I'll understand.
My wife has cancer. She's been in the hospital
No,
for
a woman to cheat, because the
same
myth
difference.
we are
My
busting-
husband has prostate cancer. You know, he can't get it up. When he does get it up, it doesn't make it to the front door. He doesn't believe in sex toys, for example. He's not a handsy person. And he expects me to be chaste because we go to church together. And this has been going on for 4 years.
So, does he know that you're sleeping around?
Well, hopefully not. But if he finds out, then this is the reason. In a situation like that, because seriously, in a situation like that, what do?
You leave him.
You can't leave him. Dude is dying.
So
how do you leave a dying man?
okay, then wait for him to die.
What if he doesn't die now?
Then he's not dying, so leave him.
Okay, but I'm sure you
You're
get
either
my
dying
point.
or you're not.
No, you can be in the middle.
We're all in the middle.
I'm sure,
We're all in the
I'm sure
middle.
you get my point.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is this. At any given time, you have a choice to either stay where you are unhappy or leave and go and look for where you'll be happier,
Happiness.
right? And when you choose to stay where you're unhappy but outsource your happiness, it's a choice. You want to
Outsource.
have your cake and eat it.
You mean eat your cake and have it?
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, you want to eat your cake.
But what's the point
Yeah,
of
after
having your
you-
cake if you're not eating it? You want to eat it and still have it.
Okay. But you want to have your...
If you have
We'll do
your
a whole podcast
On
about
have your cake
what
and
we are
eat
doing
it.
to the cake. But today we are busting myths.
Yeah,
Your
so-
turn.
myths about men. We've already done 2, which you brought up. Well, 2. One that men are down. 2 that men will sleep with.
Just anything. But people
3
believe...
that
Have we bust that one, though?
Which one?
Men will sleep with anything.
We started, but I don't think we finished. I don't think that a man will sleep with anything.
But you know, many women think that.
Yeah, because of the kinds of women you get caught with sometimes.
So what you're saying is that you think that the women that your men cheat on you with are not as good as you.
Beyonce said it in her song. She's had half of you, and she's not even half of me. Let me tell you something, Kojo. One of the most painful things about cheating, from a woman's perspective. You see, I always say this. If I was married to, let's say, you, and you cheated on me with Beyonce, I will understand. Like, I will give you your 3 points. Like, bro. But when you cheat with a woman that I cannot understand, I can't look at her. I cannot understand. I don't understand. Then there's a problem. I don't know if there are other women who think this, but for me, I mean, if you're going to cheat and there's a chance of you being forgiven, Charlie, pick a woman and let me give you.
But you know
your
what's
3
interesting?
points.
Because look, I would expect a woman like you who, before you get physical with a man, will consider a million different factors besides how he looks. I would expect you to be the first to understand why a man might cheat on a beautiful woman with someone who's not as beautiful.
Doesn't have to be as beautiful, but
Or what?
But
As
something-
rich?
as
Or
as
what?
beautiful,
Or
as
speak
rich,
better
as
English?
intelligent, as well spoken, as something.
So pick
I have to be able
whichever-
to understand it. And
pick
Kojo, we know that
whichever criteria.
men pick by sight.
Listen.
Is
men-
that a myth?
No. Listen, men are attracted to what they see.
Exactly.
But
So
they
how
don't-
are you
but they-
attracted to an ugly
But they don't
woman?
always make decisions based on sight.
They make decisions based on where the blood
But
goes.
no, they make this. You see, then you are feeding into the myth that men will sleep with anything. But
the-
men make look. There are men who spend their young lives dating supermodels, then they end up marrying someone who looks like Michelle Obama.
What's wrong with Michelle Obama?
There's nothing wrong with her, but she's not a supermodel.
But she's
So,
gorgeous.
I'm
so
saying
sorry,
this-
Michelle, if you're watching this.
She's a lovely looking woman. She's not a supermodel. Let's be clear.
Fine, whatever.
All
She's
right?
a plus size supermodel.
But the point is this: if a man chose Michelle Obama over a supermodel, people would understand.
Yeah.
Which means that men are not always led by sight.
Okay, but fine. What I'm saying is that can we understand what it is that this woman has?
May I?
I don't know.
Okay, let me explain it to you.
Okay.
First of all, sight is what might lead a man to notice a woman. But after noticing a woman, there are several decisions that must be made before a man ends up sleeping with a woman.
Okay, so
Okay.
sight is the front door.
That's the front door.
Okay,
that's
get into
all
the
it
house.
is.
Tell
okay,
us the rest.
so if a man has a type, maybe he likes women with big bums. Anytime a woman with a big bum is passing, he will look at her. But will he get up and chase every woman with a big bum?
Well,
Who
not
has
if
the
I'm
time
sitting
for
next
it?
to him.
Well, even when he's alone,
Okay.
nobody has the time.
I mean, obviously,
to go
there
around
must be
chasing every woman.
something more.
Exactly. So there must be something more.
Okay.
Now, trust me when I tell you that whatever it is that leads a man to go for another woman besides the one he already has. Whatever that thing is, whatever that factor is, it is something he wants from his woman.
Wow, you're actually making it seem like men think through these things.
They do.
They do?
Because so we are busting the myth.
So how the hell do they get caught then?
Because they don't think through the process. They think through the choice, but not the process.
Okay, all
As
right.
for the process, that one we leave it to you. You are the schemers.
Right.
Women are a friend of mine who ended up accidentally catching his wife cheating. Look, the woman would set up her completely accidentally.
Okay.
The woman can set up her alibi 3 months in advance.
Yeah.
She's going to cheat on you 3 months from now, but she starts laying the ground rules from now.
Of course.
And the evidence that will be gathered, so that your mind will never even go towards what she's going to do. Women are schemers. Men, we are once the choice is made, the choice takes thinking. But once the choice is made, we're not thinking anymore.
I see.
That's why we get caught.
Okay.
Right? But it is not true that men will sleep with just anyone.
Well, I agreed with you on that.
Yeah. But, of course, this is not only for you and I. You might have a more evolved view of men than others. But the truth is that many women think men will sleep with just anything in skirts. Please, there are a dozen men who will reject you, whoever you are, madam. There are many men who will reject you. So men will not sleep with just anything.
Okay.
Especially not high-value men.
Oh, I love that. The new description of men, the whole high value thing. You know, it's kind of like a reset. We didn't
used to say
high value.
We used to discriminate between
high value and low value or stuff. Yeah, but that's an interesting thing. So just in case there's people listening to us who haven't gotten to the whole high value thing, do you want to maybe just tell us a little bit about?
Okay, in my view, and I think you will find people defining it differently, but in my view, a high value man is a man who cannot be easily manipulated for whatever reason. So it could be that he's independently wealthy and has so many choices that you cannot force him in your direction. Okay. Or it may be that he's just a strong-minded person. He has a goal in life. He's in medical school, he's pursuing his goal, or he's training to become a sound engineer. So he's so singular-minded on his focus that whatever you want to distract him with won't work. That makes him high value. A man who has something that you want, right? So the same way that women are able to use the currency of either their body or their sexuality to make men do what they want because they have something men want, right? It gives them value. In the same way, what gives a man value? Right? Having something that you can't just lay claim to.
Yeah.
Right? If I'm easy to manipulate, if you can just text me, hey stranger, and I'll send you money, I'm not a high value man, no matter how rich I am. See what I'm saying? Okay. So I must be above your manipulation in order to be high value.
It's interesting because I think that men and women may define high value men differently.
Oh yes.
Because if I was defining a high value man, the last thing I would use are the examples that you have. I would say like a high value man is somebody who has a lot of self-awareness, who might be successful on his way to being successful, who's kind, who's compassionate, who's thoughtful. Those things for me are high value. But maybe that's because I'm not entering the equation looking to manipulate. So beyond the manipulations, then there are, all these things.
You're not looking to manipulate? Because in my view, on some basic level, every woman is hoping to have some amount of control over her man. She wants him to do what she wants.
I don't think it's control as much as it is influence. I don't think it's control as much as it is influence. I think
same difference.
It's actually not the same difference because, and I think for me, and I get that this may not be the thought for everybody. For me controlling you is unattractive. I don't want the idea of the fact that I tell you to get up and you get up, you know. But I do like the idea that you care about me enough, or you value my opinions enough that you allow yourself to be influenced when maybe what I am saying is more well thought out,
When
or
you
more well informed.
Okay. When you say influence, is that just a polite way of saying manipulate?
No, again, it's not manipulation.
Let's think about that a bit more carefully, because
Let me
how do
give you
you
an example.
influence?
Let me give you an example. Should I give you an
Yeah,
example?
go ahead.
Okay. So let's say you're my husband and you're going out, or we're going out together, and you're wearing a blue suit and a white shirt, and I'm wearing, let's say, a pink dress. And I say to you, babe, I would love if you wore a pink shirt, because it would be nice, you know, if we color coordinated, just so that I feel like, you know, it's like a fairy tale is coming true. Does that reek of manipulation?
It depends. Let's say I don't want to change,
Okay, then fine.
right? If I
That's
don't
fine.
want to change, what will your reaction be?
Okay,
Will it be okay, fine, or will
No, it would
you
be-
or will you?
It
Go
would
on.
be why? Why though?
Precisely. Why though? If this is just a little thing I want, why don't you want to do it for me?
No, before we jump to that, there's the why. So you answer the why. Why don't you want to change your shirt, babe?
Because we're running late and I like this one.
Okay, sure. For me, it's okay, sure.
Oh, for you, it's okay, sure. But for the multitude of women watching, it will be, so this little thing that you do for me, you don't want to do it.
Okay,
5 minutes to change a shirt.
So
I've already
I think-
ironed a pink one
I
for
think
you.
that
Just
women
go and wear
also
it.
need to be more calculated in using the emotional. And I'm going to allude to the fact that we do emotionally manipulate sometimes.
Thank you.
But let's be more calculated in the emotion. Let's keep the emotional manipulation for the big things. Do you know what I mean? And not fight over shirts.
Okay, so you gave the example of a shirt. It could have been land they are buying. It could have been anything. The point is, you manipulate.
Okay, whatever.
Thank you.
Moving on.
All right. Okay, here's another myth men have about women. Men think that women are irrational.
Irrational.
Yes. And I'll explain. Men have a certain, and look, everything we say on this podcast is in generality.
Wow. Okay.
We're talking in generality.
But men think that women are generally irrational.
Men have a certain thought process, which they describe as logical. Okay. So it's 1 + 1 = 2.
Okay.
If this, therefore that.
Okay.
Okay. Women have a thought process that is very different.
Yeah.
It's very, very different. Okay, so it's going in one direction, then there's something else that comes from here, and then suddenly there's this and that, and based on this, because of that, then suddenly this. But that's how I feel today. Tomorrow, it'll be different, right? Men think that is irrational, okay? But I actually, and I'm busting my own myth here, but I actually think that women's thought process is also logical. It just looks different. I read a book about dreams, and the author was explaining the logic of dreams and how our minds work. And you know, what we already know about dreams is that when you are sleeping and your brain is resting, it's trying to arrange all the thoughts you've had, either over that day or that week or whatever. So lots of random thoughts are being placed into the right spaces in your brain so that you can recall them when you need them, right? That's what is happening. Now, your brain is wired to be logical. So when these random bits of data are flying around and they don't make sense, your brain, even though you are asleep, if you are not logical, then you are mad. And you are not mad. So your brain tries to create a narrative for those random bits of information flying around
logical.
so that it will be logical to you and you don't go mad, right? So that's how your dreams form into weird stories that are half sensible and then half weird, and then they just, right? That's his explanation. Then he goes further to say, if we were able to harness all of the capacity of our brains,
Of course.
we would actually draw connections between things, even when we are weak. So, for example, you might, if you were able to tell the strength of the wind blowing, and you could calculate the speed of the car crossing the road, and you could see a child playing with a ball over there, your brain will be able to calculate and know that in 2 minutes' time, that child's ball is going to bounce on the road, and the boy is going to chase it, and the car is going to hit. the child. Your brain will be able to calculate all that, but we are not able to harness it. But every now and then, we do.
Yeah.
So every now and then, these things come together and you suddenly have what seems like a premonition of something bad about to happen. It's because your brain has done an actual calculation. It's actual logic. Just that you can't explain it.
I get it. Because
right?
my brain
and
does
women,
that when I'm asleep.
There you go.
Yeah.
And women are better at it than men.
Way better.
So that's why your wife can tell you, this trip that you are going on, I'm worried something will happen to you. Don't go. If you are smart, don't go.
Yeah.
Because it's actual maths. Just that she can't show working. Right? So that's the difference between men and women. I don't think that women are irrational or illogical at all. I just think that your logic is on a certain level that is so complex that you can't show you're working.
I feel like I'm expected to give a more detailed response than but
We'll end on
but I'm at a Who knows?
Do you think we should do a part 2 of this?
Maybe the logical and the emotional. Yeah. We should definitely do a podcast on why. I mean, it's also a myth that men think women are more emotional than logical.
Yes.
But is it a myth though?
Let's find out in the next episode.
Say 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's give us something to talk about.